on The Occult Detective, we're going to talk about The Ninja by Eric Van Lustbader. The martial traditions of Japan find their highest expression in the samurai, the noble warrior. But these traditions have a darker side in the cult of the ninja. Remorseless assassins who believe in drugs and magic and know 1,000 stealthy ways to kill. Eric Van Lustbader's powerful novel of passion and revenge takes us into the deadly secret world of ninjutsu, not only in post-war Japan, but in New York today. The story opens when Nicholas Lanier, half Oriental, half English, becomes involved with the daughter of a rich and powerful industrialist in a love affair of exceptional intensity. Soon he is faced with a series of ninja-style murders which draws him back to another part of his life in Japan. In flashback, we meet Chong, his half-Chinese, half-Japanese mother, his father, an English military man deeply embroiled in post-war Japanese intrigue, and his first love, Yukio, whose sexual appetites are as complex as the ninja's ability to kill. In present-day New York, we enter some of the city's exotic private places, peopled by such characters as Terry Tanaka, owner of the city's most exclusive martial arts club, and Ama, madam of an incomparable Chinatown brothel in which boys and girls are trained to satisfy the most elaborate desires. The story of a man trying to outrun his past, The Ninja is an erotic thriller, a large and powerful novel of old lusts and present passions converging in a terrifying moment of revelation and revenge. The Ninja. I read this book when it first came out. I was 13, 14 years old, and I was obsessed with ninja, as was just about everyone at that time. I was a big fan of the writings of Stephen K. Hayes. The whole culture built around the ninja. Probably the biggest influences, that led me into this was Shogun. I read the novel in which they played a part, and then there was the TV miniseries where you got to actually see them in action. You had even earlier appearances in James Bond. They were a big part of one of Sean Connery's better films. And of course, Chuck Norris' The Octagon, which really, cemented it for me. Kaio the Executioner, just the whole mystique of the ninja was overwhelming. Of course, there were no schools at the time, especially for a kid in rural Indiana. So I took some Tangsudo lessons. There was a local guy who taught us some Aikido, and one of my best friends and we built a ninja camp out in the woods not far from where we lived, and it was a great time. Ninja were everywhere, on TV and movies and comics, and Eric Van Lustbader's novel, which, to be fair, I was probably too young to have read. As they describe it as an erotic thriller, that is very true. It is lustful. It is, erotica is underscored. There is BDSM, some horrible perversions, pedophilia. The villain of this piece is deplorable. He's broken, but he's the very height of dangerous. And to be fair, Nicholas Lanier is not much different. There's just Lustbader just writes this thing. It's steeped in sex, in sexual innuendo, but it's complex. As a thriller, it is magnificent. The action is terrific. Research is spot on. It is just a lot of fun. And I loved it when I was a teenager. And let's see, I reread it again in my early 20s and have reread it now. It holds up. It's dated for sure. And it's kind of rough in places. Kind of makes you wince a bit here and there, but my goodness, a great novel, one of my favorites, and I would recommend it to anyone who likes a good action adventure thriller. It's got great pacing, great complex characters, and just one of my favorite villains. The complex nature of the conflict between Saigo and Nicholas Lanier, who are cousins, and how their story just leads to this terrific confrontation. It's just very well wrought. You can understand the pain in each of these characters and how one leads towards the light and the other to the depths of utter darkness. Saigo is, I think I said it already, he's deplorable. He's just an awful human being, and as deadly as they come. If you get a chance, I highly recommend that you look into the Ninja. I love this cover art. Yeah, well worth a read. Next up on the docket, I will be discussing Llama's Night by Katherine Kurtz. Very underrated and magnificent writer, and I hope if you've not read her, I'll be able to turn you on to who is easily one of my favorite authors of all time. Thanks for tuning in. Please hit that like and subscribe. It really help me out as I try to build this channel. I will get better at this as we go along, but hopefully we can interact a bit and find some common ground. Talk again soon.